Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 news video. So, a couple of cool things to talk about today, including some interesting bits and pieces coming out of the public test server today, which is great. And we have a cool couple of weekends lined up ahead as well, so we'll talk about those. Right, let's get cracking. Okay then, so yeah, we've got a little bit of news coming up that was a little bit unexpected, but it's cool. So first up, public test server. That reopened yesterday, and it's testing, well, the idea is to test one particular feature, although there are a couple of extras in there as well, which is quite cool. So, show you some footage of this at the moment, but yeah, the big feature is double mutated public events. So, back with the Mutation Invasion update in... last day of February, so the last update we just had. Mutated events arrive, top of every hour, the event goes mutated, the enemies have mutations circa daily ops, on top of their usual whatever the heck they're doing. This also means you get extra rewards. However, they are expanding on this concept, as they did with daily ops, so that we will now be getting double mutated events. So for daily ops, the way that works is that on specific weekends, the enemies have two mutations at once instead of just the one, and you get a whole bunch of extra rewards for it. Most of it's related to currencies and legendary modules and stuff, but that's the way that works for daily ops. The same principle is being applied to mutated events, and that's one will be coming on down the line, wherein you'll be getting double mutated party packs, which they look like they're not working quite correctly at the moment on the PTS. We'll have to see what happens with that, but the idea is that you basically get twice as many rewards for enemies that have two mutations instead of one. So, Bethesda haven't said exactly how the layout of this is going to work. I know there's some speculation at the moment, which I think is probably wide of the mark, but my guess is that when they do double mutated weekends for daily ops, they'll also do them for events. That would make sense. But yeah, you seem to get decent extra rewards for it, and then once they figure out a few kinks, which is why it's on the PTS at the minute, then hopefully that should be pretty solid and decent rewards from these events. Of course, the threat level goes up a little bit as well. On Discord at the moment, there's a lot of chatter about this, not too surprisingly. Bethesda have said this is not going to be coming as part of update 43? I think that's the patch number. That is due in the middle of April anyway. This is the small update between the large ones, you know, but Bethesda do 4 updates a year that are larger ones for Fallout 76, so that's usually about March, about June, about September, and about December. And then they do 4 in between those. 43 is going to be one of the in-between ones that's a bit smaller, but it's not going to include double mutations. That's coming in a later update. Bethesda have confirmed this on the Discord. That likely means this will probably appear in June, otherwise they probably wouldn't be testing it now. It would probably come up sometime over the summer instead of nowish. So yeah, likely this will appear in June, but exactly when, we'll find out nearer the time. I would also expect that there'll be a whole lot of other stuff in that patch. This is just one small feature that's going to be part of it, and the first part they're testing. I suspect we'll be seeing subsequent testing on down the line, especially as this is only a 1-week test window. So, one other little thing on the possible combos for mutated events. So I'll throw it up on the screen now so you can pause it if you want. And here is a list of all of the possible combinations of the events and the possible double mutation combinations on there. This is just the names of them as opposed to the actual pairings that are part of those. But you can look them up from Daily Ops on the wiki if you would like to. So it's basically the same events but with some extra stuff when these events run. So, other than that, there are a couple of cool things on the PTS that we're talking about at the moment. So, first up, this is a particularly big thing for PC users, although it does apparently also apply to console users as well, according to the chatter on Discord anyway, and that is that we will now be able to type in the specific number of an item that we want into the menu rather than just using the slider. So if you wanted to grab something out of your stash box, like or a scrap box, like scrap, say, to donate to the responders at the refuge, then you had to find 50 and drag that slider across, and it was quite awkward, especially if you had a large quantity. Same thing goes for crafting ammunition, stuff like that, or food, or whatever it might be. You can now just type in the number and save yourself a lot of hassle. So that is absolutely awesome and been long overdue. I know apparently there are mods out there for that, but it's now going to be part of the base game. When this is going to arrive, it might be the 43 update next month, or it might be the one in June. We don't know. They haven't actually mentioned these particular changes too much anyway, but they're in there, so that's cool. It does, as I say, apply to console users as well. It sounds like there'll be an option to make a number pad type box pop up, and then you'll be able to key it in there. The exact ins and outs of this I'm not entirely familiar with. It's been a while since I've run into that on a console, so hopefully you guys who will be affected by this will have a better idea of what's going on there. But still, it's going to be a lot more convenient for getting specific amounts of stuff either crafted or out of stash boxes and the like, so that's pretty good. Another cool thing that has been pulled out, that shout out to people on the Discord and elsewhere for grabbing this one faster than I could. If you head over to Giuseppe's store in the White Spring Refuge, where you can spend your stamps, they have added headlights for the Union power armor, so you can now buy bright ones, blue ones, purple ones, red ones, Vault Boy ones, whichever you like, and install them on your Union power armor. Previously, those didn't exist at all, I don't think. I believe not anyway, so you were just stuck with the base headlight for Union power armor. And yeah, obviously the Union power armor, if you haven't already got it, because it was on the season, can be bought for stamps from there as well, so definitely worth working on, because it's pretty much the best you're going to get in the game at the moment. Really good poison resistance and extra carry weight as well, and the damage resistances generally are really solid too, so can recommend. But yeah, you can now improve your headlights as well by buying the plans from Giuseppe at the White Spring, which is cool. So there's one other change that is on the PTS that has been chitter-chatted about, and that is to legendary effects. So there's a whole bunch of them that have had their descriptions changed on weapons that happen to bear those effects. So you'll see the description of what Bloodied does is phrased a little differently. The description of what Aristocrats does is phrased differently, and there's a whole bunch of others as well. I'll throw a post up here so you can sort of see what's changed, and you can pause it and have a look in more detail. This has come off the Discord. You can also find it on Bethesda's Discord in a pinned comment. So rummage through there. It does appear, contrary to some of the speculation at the moment, that this is just a text change, not a change to the functioning of the effect. So this is not 100% sure, but it looks like, based on this post which has come from one of the devs, that these are just being phrased differently to clarify what the effects do, so you can see right away exactly what effect you're getting, as opposed to figuring out exactly what it means for yourself. You know, it's supposed to make it a bit more clear, which is ironic considering my explanation really didn't do that. So yeah, that seems to be the case, as opposed to actually being a change in the effect. It's just a text visual thing on the description. So it would seem, I know there's speculation out there that it might change the effect, but the effect hasn't changed on the PTS at the moment, so yeah, seems to be the case. There is also pinned on the Discord as well if you want to have a look at it in more detail, but yeah, there's also some typos in there, which is why it looks like certain things might be getting a buff when it apparently is not the case. So yeah, it's a visual difference, not a buff or a nerf, so bear that one in mind. So that's everything on the PTS at the moment, and just one other thing I wanted to talk about regarding the next 2 weekends in Fallout 76, and that is the weekend events that come from the community calendar. So I'll throw this up on the screen so you can have a look for yourself, but there's a couple of key points here, and that is that this weekend we have a double mutations thing, so that only affects daily ops for now. Minerva's big sale is kicking off, so if you want to catch up with her at the White Spring and check her inventory for cheaper items for bullion, now will be the time to do it, because everything she's had for the last few weeks will be in her inventory, so outside the front door of the White Springs Hotel. Go and check that one out if you want to. We also have, and this is the key point, Hunt for the Treasure Hunt area is back this weekend. So if you want to hunt those treasure hunter mole miners, get their pails, and get the cool items out of those, you can do. You can also go to vendors, buy pails, and craft them up for better odds of getting cool plans out of them. FYI, as always, if you're going to do that, go down the crafting route, craft the mid-tier pails, because you get the best cost to odds of getting a good reward ratio. If you go for the top tier ones, their cost skyrockets, but the ratio and chance of drops doesn't improve much. So mid tier's the way to go. But also really handy for hunting down the treasure hunter mole miners for legendaries. If you want to grind out a whole bunch of script or anything like that, so that you can get more legendary modules, for example, which is something I really want to do. This is a good opportunity to get significantly more legendaries than you would otherwise do. And if you happen to have Fallout first, jump into a private world, no competition for them there, so you can get them even easier. That's what I'll be doing this weekend. And I bring this up specifically because next weekend is the April Fool's weekend, which is why we're getting the Halloween event returning. I know, it makes no sense, April Fool's, you know, that's how it goes. So Spooky Scorch will be back next weekend. And this is particularly significant because it's another event that will give you an opportunity to grab yet more legendaries, as well as some cool Halloween outfits, stuff like that. So worth engaging with. But the second thing that comes behind that is script surplus. So, if you're going to, for the next 2 weekends, be acquiring a ton of legendary items, you're going to have a hard time turning them in without running out of script, or at least if you're anything like me, you will. So, having script surplus next weekend on the back end of this is fantastic because it's actually close to events that increase the amount of legendaries we can get, so we'll be able to turn them in for script much more easily. So next weekend, script surplus at the same time as yet more legendaries available. It's a really great combination, and I wanted to shout out about this because you really want to know about this one if you want to chase down the script. This is a really great time to be doing that, so thoroughly recommend. I will be on that the next couple of weekends, so yeah, definitely a good opportunity to do that and make sure you've got it stocked up. As I say, often as not, script surplus appears randomly on its own at a time when there's no particular boost to the number of legendaries you're getting, which is not particularly useful, and then you don't get it following or at the same time an event where you do get extra legendaries, so the time it will be most useful. And that's bugged me for ages, so it's really nice to see these actually lining up in a way that is really quite practical this time, so take advantage while you can is the key point here. So, that basically covers all the cool ins and outs of what's going on at the moment. If we get any more news, which I imagine we will, we don't have any patch notes for what's going on the PTS at the moment because it's only a small test period. I expect we'll be getting a whole bunch more between now and June when the next update is, or the next big update is due. There's a small one due sometime in April, so obviously I'll be covering that when we get the info as well. So keep it here if you want to catch up with that. And yeah, I do hope this was interesting and informative to you. So, if you did like the video, please do drop subs, likes, and hit that notification bell and all that good stuff, and then you can keep up to date with everything going on. Social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff down below as well. If you want to support the channel that way, massively appreciated, really helps out. And join us for live streams as well. We are finishing off Red Dead 2 just at the moment, with Resident Evil 4, the remake, literally just around the corner. Going to kick that one off next week. And we've got Redfall not far off that, and then a whole bunch of stuff to do over the summer before Starfield drops in September as well. And of course, Fallout 76 ongoing as well on the live streams too, so I do hope you join us for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.